Level 1. The Pretender. 12:47 a.m. You're standing outside a members-only bar on Sunset Boulevard, Los Angeles. In your pocket, an Amex Gold card with an $8,000 limit. You've burned through $6,200 of it. Tonight has one purpose. Make the man sitting in the corner think you belong here. At this level, the job isn't making money. It's managing perception. You lease a 2024 Mercedes GLE, $1,800 a month. The Supreme hoodie is real. The sneakers aren't. Your Instagram has 87 posts, every location tag a rotation of the Standard, Nobu, and the Beverly Hills Hotel. You paid $300 to join a private group that tracks where the actually wealthy show up, so you can be there first. You've learned how to look like you spent $2,000 on a $200 budget. You've learned never to bring up money, because people who have real money don't talk about it. You've learned to write dinner in your Venmo memo, even when it's the third installment payment this month. Your actual bank balance? $1,340. 2 credit cards nearly maxed. You haven't FaceTimed your parents in 3 months because you don't want to explain any of this. The logic of this level is simple. Get in the room. Get into the right room, and opportunities appear. The problem is, the system is constantly running tests. Are you actually one of them? Fail once? Fine. Fail 3 times, and the door stops opening for you. The man in the corner walks over, hands you a card. No title, no company, just a phone number. He says, "I know some people. You look like someone who could be useful." You put the card in your pocket. Level 2. The Performer. That number made you wait 11 days. When the call finally came, you got an address. A building on Ocean Avenue in Santa Monica with no visible signage. 3rd floor, Wednesday, 2 p.m. You showed up on time in the best suit you owned, Zara, but freshly pressed. This level runs on one engine, the middleman. You don't own anything. You connect people who have things to people who need things. Hermes Birkins through internal channels flipped for $4,000 to $8,000 a turn. High-end event coordination. Getting the right people into the right rooms for $2,500 an arrangement. You start learning to read someone's actual net worth versus their displayed net worth. The truly wealthy don't wear the most expensive clothes. They wear custom, but nothing you'd recognize. They speak slowly. They don't need to perform confidence. You start mimicking the pace. You also discover something else. Information is currency. Who's going through a divorce? Which company is quietly shopping for a buyer? Who owes who a favor? This is worth more than any luxury good. You start keeping systematic notes. Code names only, no real names. One deal requires you to sign a document. You read it twice. A few lines don't fully land, but the other party says, "It's standard." You sign it. You still don't know everything that was in it. That's the first thing you lose, complete knowledge of what you're actually doing. The life support of the middleman system is trust, but not the kind you're picturing. It's not built on friendship. It's built on, if you blow this, you lose more than I do. Everyone at this level owes someone something. The debt isn't in dollars, it's in favors, and favors have no expiration date. 3 months in, you're pulling $9,000 to $14,000 a month. You're actually staying in the places you used to pretend to have been. Level 3. The Player. Someone wants to meet you, not the Santa Monica office, a private residence in Beverly Hills. Friday, 8 p.m. 2 men at the door, casual clothes, but they're clocking you. Inside, maybe 15 people, ages 35 to 55, all drinking the same thing, all speaking in low voices. Nobody has their phone out. This level is about capital deployment, not other people's money, yours. You're entering private deals, real estate limited partnerships, closed circle investment structures, things referred to as inside opportunities. Minimum buy-in is usually $50,000, sometimes $100,000. Your first entry? $75,000. 2 years of stacked cash, plus a personal loan whose stated purpose was left deliberately vague. You learn to read LLC operating agreements. Preferred returns typically set at 8%. Excess profits split 80-20 between GP and LP. You learn to assess risk without asking too many questions, because asking too many questions signals that you don't trust the circle. Not trusting the circle means getting cut out. That year, you attend 4 weddings. You miss your closest friends. There's a closed-door meeting in Aspen that weekend, and you can't be absent. You text, "Sorry, something came up." No explanation. Your social circle starts expanding outward while your inner circle contracts. Fewer people, but every one of them carries more weight. There's an unspoken rule at this level. You only move forward, never backward. Once you've established your position, if you suddenly disappear or step away, people start asking why. That question alone damages you. The system doesn't need chains. It stays intact because there's no exit ramp. Level 4, the operator. Not every meeting has chairs. You once watched a $42 million acquisition get finalized in a horse barn on a private ranch outside Aspen. No lawyers, no contracts. 3 people, a bottle of whiskey, and a handshake. The moment that handshake landed, the jobs of 45 workers, the assets of 3 families, and the fate of an entire company had already been decided. Your role? Move the deal, not participate in it. That means you control the information flow. Who knows what? Who knows it when? You manage a network of 14 vendors, 3 legal entities, and 7 internal contacts, and no single person in that network holds the full picture. Only you do. This level requires you to understand architecture, not just contracts, but the underlying structure itself. Delaware holding company frameworks that isolate assets from personal liability. The gap between a company's EBITDA and its market valuation, and how to tell whether that gap is an opportunity or a trap. Every decision you make is anchored to one question. Who is actually absorbing the risk in the final structure? You can no longer explain to anyone outside the system what you actually do, not because it's illegal, but because the explanation itself would expose information. The last time you told someone something completely true was about 18 months ago. Your lawyer. Details of a will. Your social life has become a series of strategic appearances. This level runs on asymmetric information. Your value isn't what you can do, it's what you know, and who doesn't know you know it. The moment you start sharing what you hold, your value begins to drain. The system instinctively concentrates information in a small number of hands, then makes those people dependent on each other. Level 5, the architect. You no longer attend most meetings. You appear where you've decided it's worth appearing, roughly 40 times a year. A breakfast table at a private oceanfront villa in Miami Beach. A 2-minute conversation in a corridor outside the main floor at Davos. A private dining room on the Upper East Side where the menus don't have prices. You design structures, you don't run them. Your role is deciding who gets access to which level and on what terms. You don't manage people, you manage rules. You control 3 funds registered in the Cayman Islands. Total AUM, approximately $230 million. Assets held directly in your name, $17 million, including a townhouse in Miami and 400 acres in Colorado. The rest lives inside trusts and limited partnership agreements. Some of your own family members don't know the full picture. You employ 2 full-time legal counsels and a former IRS auditor as your private tax strategist. You don't need to understand every technical detail. What you need to know is when to ask. Under what conditions does this structure break? Not, how much does this structure save me? The distance between those 2 questions is the distance between this level and the last one. Last year, someone you knew 20 years ago reached out. His company was in trouble. He wanted to know if you'd help. You passed it to your assistant. The assistant replied that it had been handled. You didn't ask what handled meant. 2 months later, his company filed for bankruptcy. You read the news, finished your coffee, and opened the next document. At this level, power doesn't come from what you've done. It comes from what you can make happen, or prevent from happening. The system starts generating its own gravity. Things don't need to be pushed toward you anymore. They arrive on their own. All you have to decide is whether to catch them or let them fall. Level 6. The Ghost. Nobody knows where you are today. That's not a figure of speech. Your public schedule is fabricated, maintained by your team, deliberately seeded with details that are verifiable but incomplete. Your actual location at any given moment is known to exactly 3 people: your head of security, your personal assistant, and you. You no longer execute anything. What you own runs itself. Your role is final arbiter, but these decisions rarely happen in meetings. They happen through your silence. When something is brought to you, if you don't veto it, it moves forward. Your non-response is itself an act of authority. You hold more than 40 legal entities across 7 jurisdictions: British Virgin Islands, Liechtenstein, Singapore, Delaware. No single document can reconstruct your complete asset structure, not even close. At this level, your most critical skill isn't knowledge, it's reading people. You've seen enough of them to have developed a kind of cold pattern recognition. Who's performing? Who's real? Whose ambition has outrun their ability? Whose loyalty has a price? When you decide who gets close to you, you're not asking what they can do for you. You're asking what they'll do when they no longer have a reason to stay. You're sitting in a room inside a building on the outskirts of Seattle. The building isn't listed for sale. It belongs to a company, which belongs to another company, which belongs to a trust you control. Outside the window, the Puget Sound. The water is gray. The last time someone sought you out, not because they needed something from you, but simply because they wanted to talk, was about 4 years ago. You can't remember what was said. You only remember that the person died not long after. You have passed through more rooms in your life than you can count. This one feels the safest, also the quietest. No one will knock on this door unless you ask them to. This is what power ultimately becomes, not control over others, but the complete absence of needing anyone at all. The system no longer requires your active maintenance. It runs on its own gravity. The structure you built will outlast you, generating returns, absorbing new participants, running the same rules long after you're gone. You were its architect, but the ecosystem has forgotten your face. It only knows the rules. Somewhere, a young man just received a card from a stranger. No title, no company, just a phone number. He thinks it's an opportunity. He's right. He just doesn't know yet. Opportunity has never been free. And the bill always arrives at the exact moment you think you've already won. He'll figure it out. They all do.